On this week's episode of Hoosier News Source, climate talks in Paris and how you can help the environment.
And protesters stand with Syrian refugees. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. I'm Kate O'Rourke.
And I'm Tiara Brown. President Obama addressed the nation last night about terrorism and the Islamic State. The president focused on the recent mass shooting in San Bernardino and overall terrorism in the United States. He vows to intensify the country's strategy against ISIS and encourage Americans not to give in to fear. President Obama also urged people not to cast general suspicion on all Muslims or mosques. The mystery behind an IU student's death has been ruled a suicide. IU sophomore Joseph Smedley went missing in late September with a note that said he was leaving the country. A few weeks later, police found his body in Griffey Lake, but how his remains got there remained a mystery. Monroe County Coroner Nicole Meyer now confirms his death as a suicide from drowning. If you have any information about this case, please contact the police.
An alleged sexual assault reported 2 weeks ago has turned out to be untrue. A 22-year-old female reported an armed man broke into her brownstone terrace apartment at 3 a.m. and sexually assaulted her. A sketch was released of the alleged assaulter, who then came forward to police saying the accusations were false. The male had been invited to the woman's apartment where they had a dispute about money. He had text messages confirming his story. When police followed up with the female, she admitted that she knew him and he did not force himself into the apartment. 147 world leaders are discussing climate change at the United Nations conference in Paris. What is the ultimate goal? To create a binding treaty for countries to cut carbon dioxide emissions and decrease the global temperature to 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels. But some easy adjustments can reduce your carbon footprint. Try walking, biking, or riding a bus instead of driving. Recycle when possible, and do not forget to turn off lights when you are not using them. In the weeks following the terrorist attacks in Paris, the United States has been divided over whether to allow Syrian refugees into the country. On Saturday, a rally in downtown Bloomington gave a voice to those claiming that allowing refugees is an American responsibility. HNS reporter Andrew Biller has a story.
Woody Guthrie's "This Land is Your Land" echoed down Kirkwood Avenue Saturday evening as Bloomingtonians rallied to support the relocation of Syrian refugees into the United States. I'm standing here at the sample gates where over 100 IU students, faculty, and Bloomington citizens gather to stand in solidarity with the Syrian refugees. These protesters will march down Kirkwood Avenue and back up to the sample gates where they will hold a candlelight vigil for the refugees. Indiana entered the discussion when Governor Mike Pence filed a letter citing inadequacies in the system that screens refugees. Many at the rally claimed that Pence's fears are ill-founded.
The Syrian people are the victims here. So when we're talking about this source of fear of ISIS, we have to understand that Syrians themselves fear ISIS even much more than we do ourselves.
When the protests returned to the sample gates, people gathered to hear speeches from IU professors and Syrian American students.
They say the numbers, right? They tell you 1,580 civilians were killed that day in our little neighborhood. They don't tell you when it's your 7-month-old son that 1,580 means nothing when you're trying to find that favorite blanket to wrap him in when you're burying him.
Suzanne Kouamli has done humanitarian work in Syria and is concerned with the perception of Muslim refugees in America.
Most Muslims and Syrians that you'll meet, they could be your doctor, they could be your teacher, they could be your professor, they could be the local business owner. Most of them are upstanding citizens who are very grateful to be here.
Throughout the rally, protesters maintained adamant that refugee relocation is a humanitarian issue and denying asylum could cost thousands of Syrian lives. For Hoosier News Source, this is Andrew Biller.
The Obama administration stated that U.S. governors have no authority on immigration policy. They are continuing with plans to settle 10,000 Syrian refugees by the end of the fiscal year.
The University Board of Trustees held a meeting Thursday and Friday on campus about building renovations and IU president's contract extension. Different committees discussed and approved the additions to the Gateway at 3rd and Indiana for decoration purposes and a new hall for the IU Marching 100 Band to practice in. They also extended President Michael McRobbie's contract for an additional year. The Board of Trustees holds 6 two-day meetings every academic year, and their next meeting is scheduled for February 4th and 5th of next year at IUPUI's campus. Indiana University students may have heard of IU Safety Escort, but what a lot of students don't know is that there is an app to request a ride. The app is called Tap Ride. It's a safe and easy way that allows college students to get home all through a smartphone app. Tap Ride displays the estimated time it would take a driver to reach your location and whether they are operating at that time. The rides are free for up to 2 IU students or employees. For more information on when to use their services, visit their website at safety.indiana.edu. Issues of racial injustice on college campuses became a trending topic after the president of Missouri University resigned over racial backlash. Hoosier news source Olivia DeWeese looks deeper into how students at Indiana University are affected.
Student athletes across the nation were stunned by the news about the Missouri football team. IU's athletes were no different.
I saw guys standing by that TV screen for 15, 20 minutes on end, just watching the coverage of it.
This is not the first time that athletics and politics have merged. In the 1968 Olympic Games, John Carlos raised his fist in a Black Power salute as a symbol of resistance and defiance. Much like the 10 IU football players who boycotted practice after they were benched due to their race in 1969.
But this protest was different. Not only did it involve student athletes, but they chose to use their power to support their non-athlete peers.
I do think it's inspiring to see students or student athletes thinking about something larger than themselves, thinking about the greater issues of our time.
And the athletes echoed the administration.
Most people were happy about it in terms of the players stepping up and doing something for a good cause.
Jones said that the football team did not discuss the issues in an organized team event, but believes it is important for his teammates to be conscious of what is going on. However, the senior athletic staff at the university did.
We did have a conversation about not overlooking what we might in our own little worlds perceive as small things, but that they might be a big thing to someone else, and to be proactive in addressing these concerns.
Gray said they discussed the power of student athletes. He said from a student activist standpoint, most of IU's athletes understand their place as positive and important role models to young people across the state and campus. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Olivia DeWeese.
Jones said he hopes the team will discuss the importance of the events together as the season comes to close.
Coming up on Hoosier News Source, an inside look at the Assembly Hall renovations.
Plus, new printers at Wells Library just in time for finals.
All of that and more coming up. Stay with us.
It's an honor to be here.
After suffering a season-ending injury in late March,
As you can see behind me,
Welcome back. The March of Dimes IU Collegiate Council is hosting Coffee and Canvas at the Poorhouse Cafe on Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. The Poorhouse is providing coffee and cookies while attendees paint festive winter scenes on canvases. Children are welcome to join for a special canvas event featuring hot chocolate and a cookie. The cost is $30 for adults and $10 for children. All proceeds help the March of Dimes fund life-saving research at IU to improve infant health. Space is limited, so you can RSVP to the email below.
IU basketball fans can look forward to new assembly hall changes. The renovations include more bathrooms, nicer concession areas, new escalators, and a museum dedicated to the history of IU basketball. As Associate Athletic Director for Strategic Communication and Fan Experience, Jeremy Gray says it's going to be more than just a place to watch a basketball game. It's going to be a basketball experience from the moment you walk in the door to the time you get into your car. Even though the renovation will change this legendary landmark, it will remain the same assembly hall you know and love.
It's still going to have the largest student section in the entire country. It's going to still be this odd configuration where it seems like it goes straight up into the air on both sides of the court and that the fans are completely on top of the opposing team while they play. And it's still going to be the same loud assembly hall that has allowed Indiana to win 85% of our games in this building.
IU alumna Cindy Simon-Scott is providing IU athletics with a $40 million donation. The new assembly hall is set to be complete by next basketball season.
IU student technology fees funded the introduction of a new technology this fall. 10 MakerBot printers are layering melted plastic into three-dimensional printed objects. Take a look at this new resource on campus. Printing at IU is no longer confined to just 2 dimensions. A new 3D printing lab is making it possible to create plastic models of just about anything. All IU students, faculty, and staff are welcome to bring their ideas to this printing lab on the 4th floor of the Wells Library. All you need is an idea on the computer, and the printing possibilities are endless. No design skills are required. Just go online to the Thingiverse website to customize a pre-designed item.
I have yet to design. So the thing that I learned when I went through the training was that 3D printing is actually, the printing is really easy. So in our MakerBot training, we learned how to to put the spool in and how it sort of functions, just the printer. But the actual 3D modeling is the complicated part.
UITS consultants are working with IUPUI to expand the printing lab to include design support for future customers. In the meantime, they are happy to provide the final phase in 3D printing for a minimal cost. The cost is $5 for the first 25 grams and 20 cents for each additional gram. The lab is a nonprofit and is funded by student technology fees.
We are trying to reach out to people who are looking for collaborative work. We want to grow and expand this community. So right now, that's what we're trying to do. That's our main focus, is just educating people who don't know.
To begin your first 3D print, submit an online request. Consultants will respond with final details and a cost estimate. After a preliminary consultation meeting, the printing process will begin. In 1 to 2 weeks, your print will be ready for pickup. Gift giving just got a lot more thoughtful. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Kate O'Rourke. The 3D printing lab is open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information and to submit a printing request, visit the website below.
That was a really cool T-Rex head. How long does that take to print?
So that was one of their bigger printing jobs. It was 4 different pieces, and it took about 70 hours to print.
Wow. Well, that's all we have for you on this week of Hoosier News Source. For more campus and local news, visit our website at iustv.com.
And follow us on social media. Like us on Facebook at IUSTV News, and follow us on Twitter at Hoosier NW Source.
From all of us here at IUSTV, thanks for watching and see you next week.